one moment where her foot just went in Awkwafina's mouth. We were all just dying laughter, even though, of course, 99% of that didn't make it into the film. Yeah, we do have a couple moments that were like gold out of that.
Quiz Lady 呢是一部2023年的喜剧电影，它是由 Jessica 所指导 ，Jen D'Angelo 所编剧的。这一部电影呢是由 Sandra Oh 还有 Awkwafina 所主演的。The Quiz Lady 呢是讲述了 Anne， 也就是 Awkwafina 她这个女生的故事。这个女生呢，她真的非常痴迷于一个叫做 Can't Stop the Quiz 的这个智力问答节目，而且你知道吗 ？Awkwafina 竟然是演一个非常温顺而且是自卑的女人。当她疏远已久的妹妹是由这个Sandra Oh 演的 Jenny， 在这个经商失败之后回到家里以后呢，这个两姐妹啊就被迫要一起合作来偿还母亲的债务，所以他们就决定要参加这个 Can't Stop the Quiz 这个 trivia game， 想要来赢钱。当然啦，这个过程当中呢，就是充满了许许多多的挑战，也有许许多多的曲折。Jessica 呢，她是一个导演，在美国很知名的导演，同时一个很知名的制片人。她呢非常厉害的就是她的纪录片，她指导了很多纪录片。当然了，还包括了像是奥斯卡最佳纪录片、短片类的，以及像1996年她被提名的 Jessica 呢，在最近几年呢也指导了几部电视剧，就像包括是 This Is Us 的 Morning Show， 还有 The Treatment。Hey, Jessica.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good. How about you?
Excellent.
So excited to see you. Excellent. In your previous films, you're explored into like a lot of wide ranges from like medical world and some competitive ping pong world. So how is this Quiz Lady different from your previous work?
I think what I love is that it is very much a comedy, and the humor, you know, it goes various places, but there's like this heartfelt grounding of the relationship between the sisters. So I think that particular marriage is new, and especially on the scale with this amazing cast and script.
You mentioned that Quiz Lady is a comedy. However, it has a lot of up and downs. You have to deal with sisters, that's one thing. Another thing is you have to deal with addiction. But you have to make it very heartwarming too. How do you make that happen?
I think part of it is that the relationship between the sisters, that has to ring true. Right? There's got to be something emotional in there that we can connect with, that we can root for. And if you have that, then you can go off and you can be silly and you can keep pushing that story to wherever it needs to go. So with that, I think it was just trying to make sure that this relationship between the sisters and this sense of what they've been through together, that was strong. And with Sandra and Awkwafina working together, I felt like they really put in the work to get that foundation before we even started, the camera started rolling.
Wow. With Sandra and Awkwafina, how do you bring the sisterhood and sometimes maybe a little bit of conflict out from them? I know they're great and excellent actresses, but of course, there's going to be some moment you really have to bring the heartwarming that part out. How do you do that?
Well, I think one really important factor is that about a year before we started shooting, I was in London working on a show. Sandra was in London working on a show. And so Awkwafina came over, Jen D'Angelo came over, and we all worked together on the script and workshopping, reading things out, talking about our histories, talking about everything, and also cracking a lot of jokes, eating together. So that bonding experience, I think, really helped inform the relationship between Awkwafina and Sandra. And so when they got on set, it was already there, and then they could just be in tune with each other.
So the chemistry is actually there already. When you guys are on set, it must be a lot easier.
It's also a lot more fun, because they can play what's on the page, and then I'd always say, hey, there's a take you guys can just let loose. And so a lot of, just funny hijinks and jokes and ad libs, and even if it doesn't make it in the film, I think it's just a chance for everyone to see what happens.
Wow, that's so awesome for the director and the actresses to be very inspired on the scene. And there must be a scene you really remember, even though it's not on the film, or even if it's on the film. Can you kind of share a little bit with us?
Sure. There's a scene where the sisters have to share a bed and they're sleeping like head to foot. And so in that, Sandra is trying to calm Awkwafina's character because she's all nervous about having to do this audition. So Sandra, of course, like just takes us in a direction where they say their good nights, and then she gets a leg cramp, and so her leg shoots up in the air, and then Anne has to try to massage her leg, and then she just started doing this whole thing with her leg and her foot and using her foot to like close the computer and point at her sister. And there's one moment where her foot just went in Awkwafina's mouth. Anyway, we were all just dying laughter, even though, of course, 99% of that didn't make it into the film. It was that time to just see what funny stuff could come out of it. And yeah, we do have a couple moments that are like gold out of that.
Yeah, there must be a lot of very memorable moments on set. Of course, you know, in the film, we'll try to catch that, even if that didn't make it. One very last question. What is the main goal you want to give to your audience?
I think what it is in this sibling relationship, right? You grew up together, and sometimes there's a tendency to think of the conflict, the things that didn't go right, the things that were tough. And I think in the course of this relationship, these sisters discover that there's also a strength in what they've been through together, and that there's this shared bond that they're always going to have. So
yeah, family is always going to be family. The bond is always going to be there.
Yeah, better or worse, right?
Yeah. Better or worse? Yeah, well, you can't choose your family, so it has to make it better.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jessica.
Thank you. Take care.
在这个 Quiz Lady 的电影当中啊 ，Anne 还有 Jenny， 也就是 Awkwafina 跟 Sandra， 她们两姐妹呢，其实在经历了一系列的挑战还有曲折之后，终于是在 Can't Stop the Quiz 决赛当中是赢得了冠军。这也不仅仅帮助她们偿还了母亲的债务，也让她们重拾了对彼此的感情。而在决赛当中呢，这个 Anne 跟 Jenny 也面临着来自世界各地顶尖参赛者的竞争，她们必须要依靠自己的知识还有智慧，才能够在紧张的气氛当中取得胜利。而当然啊，在比赛的过程当中，两姐妹也逐渐克服了彼此之间的矛盾还有隔阂，逐渐理解还有接纳了对方。最后呢 ，Anne 还有 Jenny 也凭着默契还有配合，以及她们坚定的意志，赢得了比赛。这不仅仅呢是对他们个人成就的体现，也是他们姐妹情深的见证哦。这部电影呢，真的是不仅仅有温馨感人的姐妹情谊，当然也有幽默风趣的剧情。Anne 跟 Jenny 呢，在参加了这个 Can't Stop the Quiz 的过程当中，真的遇到了许多意想不到的事情，也闹出了不少笑话。这些笑料呢，真的是可以让人捧腹大笑，不过也真的是很暖心哦。